Like, and when you worked on this program, trying to link diplomacy, democracy, and new technologies, it's not really worked in the Arab Spring, has it? That's not been the outcome.
Well, you know, I wouldn't equate what's happened in the Middle East with something techno-deterministic. You know, I don't think these were actually Twitter revolutions or Facebook revolutions. They were propelled by people, and to the extent that they have failed, they've failed because of lack of leadership, a lack of institutions, and other such things. There isn't an app for building a democratic society.
But there's, you know, it's tanks that count in the end, isn't it? People can communicate through Twitter or anything, sending messages. It doesn't really matter if they're going to get shot at.
Well, look, the most powerful technology in a conflict where a government is using bullets and tanks, the technology that matters the most are the bullets in the tank. You know, cell phone versus tank, the tank's going to win. But here's the thing, in many countries, a head of state isn't going to be willing to gun down their people. And in this case, what these technologies do are give very powerful capabilities to citizens and networks of citizens. I mean, that's how Barack Obama got elected president, in part, in 2008.
But you're talking about a couple of hundred-year-old democracy where it might work. That's not Iran. It's not going to work there, is it? I mean, you can follow, in fact, I follow President Rouhani of Iran on Twitter.
I do too.
If I was in Iran, I couldn't do that.
That's exactly right. So this is where you cannot divorce the technology from the reality on the ground. There are certain constituencies that think you can sort of tweet your way to democracy. I think it's a very powerful tool for communication, collaboration, for elevating people's voices. But if what a government is doing is saying a site is blocked, then you're not going to be able to tweet yourself to sort of a Jeffersonian democracy.
And that will, therefore, in China, in Iran, and other places, that's always going to be the case until there's another change, in which Twitter or any of those social elements may play a minor role.
Well, and what I think is going to happen, what is going to ultimately change China, what is ultimately going to change Iran, are young people in these countries. There are 500 million people, billion with a B, in China who use microblogging sites, 400 million of whom are under the age of 25. That's what's going to change China. That's what's going to change Iran.
Do you find, the question I raised in that little piece there, do you find it slightly embarrassing that the United States is hoovering up so much information about people around the world at the same time as talking about digital democracy and, you know, the benefits of the internet?
Yeah, I don't really see the two as being entirely interrelated. Internet freedom is the freedom to connect to the internet, to the websites of one's choosing, and to each other.
And to be listened to by the NSA.
Well, no, I mean, I really don't think that internet freedom is the freedom to do whatever you want with nobody necessarily looking on the internet. This is really a manifestation, today's manifestation. This is the year 2013 manifestation of the centuries-long tension between security and liberty.
But it's difficult for an American to lecture or suggest people adopt some of these technologies when a major arm of the US government is doing this, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it's about lecturing. I mean, I don't think sort of finger-wagging, imperious lecturing at the people around the world ever works, even when you do have a halo over your head, which few states do. But what I do think
is... But do you have a problem, sorry, but do you have a problem with this vacuuming up so much information? Do you worry about it, or do you think that's just the risk you take if you communicate?
Oh, no, look, I absolutely worry about it. And I think that with the NSA revelations, I think the world has learned a lot. And what I think that one of the conclusions that I come to personally is that as these technologies grow more and more powerful, just because something's legal and just because something's technologically possible doesn't mean it's the right thing to do.
Is Hillary Clinton running for the presidency of the United States the right thing to do? You worked with her for a while. What do you think?
Absolutely the right thing to do. I hope so. I have an 11-year-old son. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I have a 6-year-old son. And I pray to God Almighty that they grow up in a country where Hillary Clinton is president and some right-wing Tea Party Republican is not. America needs her. The world needs her. You all need her.
Well, does she listen? Maybe your children do. But do you think she will run?
I don't know. Look, you know, this speculation, it drives her a little bonkers, I think, because it's 3 years away. I mean, we just began the second term. We just went through the absolute year-long headache that was the last election. So I don't think that she or most Americans want to get into this yet. But since you ask, heck yeah, I wanted to run, and heck yeah, I wanted to win.
Alec Ross, thanks very much.
Thank you, Gavin.